Hello, old-timer.
Well, hey, get away from my stew! Oh, it's you.
You know me?
What? No, of course not. Never seen you before in my life. I just figure you're you. You know? And I'm me, and that's where we are. So, what can old Mudtooth do?
Well, I got questions.
Well, shoot, traveler. I might have some answers for you.
Who are you?
Quite a bit, stranger. The name's Mudtooth. And ain't nobody been around longer or seen more than I have. Except maybe old Ford, of course. But that old mudder cheats. Anyway, he hardly tells any of his stories. Only 3 reasons why folks come to see me. And that's my stories or my stew. Yeah. So, youngin', what'll it be?
Tell me about this town.
Town, you call it. Back in my day, a place like this wouldn't be considered much more than a camp or a bivouac. You might call it. Nah, this ain't no town. Not yet. But it is a fine place to set up kip. I lived by myself for years, see? Had myself a hockapatopter. That thing could fly to the moon and back. It could. Anywho, I was living by myself when my boy Brabus showed up saying we should move on. Told me it wasn't safe for me to be living like I've been living no more. He told me about this place. Got some nice people here. Took some getting used to. Being around folks again.
Tell me about Brabus.
Well, Brabus, he's my son. 'Twere his idea to come join this little shanty town. Not a bad idea it was, neither. He's over yonder, at the shooting range, if you're looking to find him. Not much of a talker, though, that one. Guess he didn't get his old man's gift for gab, eh?
You mentioned 3 reasons?
That's so? Huh. Did I tell you about the stories yet?
Oh yeah, and the stew.
Right. So, let me see here. Folks come see me for my stories and my stew and... Listen, you sure I said there were 3 reasons? 'Cause there's only 2, and that's certain.
Nah, you said 3.
Only 2 reasons folks come to see old Mudtooth, and you know both of them. I'm pretty sure your memory's slipping.
Tell me a story.
You bet your apple I can, but these ain't just stories, stranger. They're objective retellings of legitimate occurrences what you wouldn't believe. Now, where to start? I've been telling tales about the Ford family for years. I tell you, nothing about them surprises me no more. Like old Commander Ford, one who used to run this here ward, she was the youngest of the family. She's the one what brought most of this town together. They say she's dead and buried, but they don't know the truth of it. See, the old commander were the youngest, but she ain't the last. Old Ford, her grandpa, is still kicking here in town. Crazy old man went and fought the Deadwood head on and lived. Her grandmother was half Root herself. Folks used to call her the Root Mother. And oh, she were a twisted one, let me tell you. The thing about the Fords is they can't die. Not a single damn one of them. I mean, look, they all thought old Ford had died long ago, and there he is, plain as day. I don't care what anyone says. I swear to you on my unborn brother's life, the other Fords are still out there somewhere, too.
Come on, tell me another.
Let me see here. Ho! I ever tell you the secret behind my stew? Well, I ain't gonna. But I will tell you how it came to be, yeah? The original recipe comes from my ma, of course. But that ain't the end of the story. My ma made a fine stew, but it weren't nothing to tell tales about. Not until the day me and the Crazy Eight got ourselves trapped in one of them old, medieval, meditating... We was trapped in one of them medicinal compounds, full of pharmaceuticals and whatever you call them. And I had nothing but a dead coney and an onion on my belt, which weren't good for much but were the style at the time. So we scrounged for ingredients. Well, them hospitalities ain't no good for food, but they do have some pretty mean spices lying around if you know what you're doing, which I do. That night was the best stew any of us ever had in our lives. Kept us going for days until finally the dead wood outside got bored and took off. And that, friend, is the same stew I make today. I even use the same ingredients as them back in the day medicinals. Better even. You won't believe this one, but you should. You met my boy Brabus yet? He's a handful, that one. Always has been. Got into a scrap when he was 5, he did. Knocked down a boy had to be, twice his age. And 3 to 6 times his height, at least. Well, that boy's pa didn't take it none too well. And this pa, phew, like a pair of fists with leg bones. That boy's pa wanted to take some skin out of me for it. Now, I ain't proud of what I did next, but, oh, who am I kidding? I wouldn't be telling you if I weren't proud, now would I? But, like I taught Brabus, say as I do as I say. And anyways, I couldn't back down from a fight, not in front of the crazy 8. Come to think of it, that's probably how Brabus got the way he is. Anyway, I fight the man. He could have crushed my head between market and roast beef, but I aimed to win, not fight fair. I pointed at nothing at all behind him, then smooshed a scoop of mud straight into his mouth. Then, while he was a-spitting and a-sputtering, I hit him hard. So hard that when he fell, my muddy hand came away with 3 of his teeth in it. And that, friend, is the true story of how I got the name Mudtooth.
Come on, tell me another. You got more, don't you?
Stop me if I told you this one already. I do miss the days when you could find the stuff the old world used to make. Canned foods, spiced chocolates, electronical music boxes. Oh, found this old can of what's-it once. As in, we literally did not know what was in it. The can weren't open, but the label had long rubbed off. Finding that was like all our birthdays at the same time. That can must have been 100 years old, banged up and bloated. Could have been anything in there. So, my boys did what any good family would do. They dared me to drink it. Well, I ain't one to back down from something stupid. So, I grabbed the can and said,
Oi, oi. You awake there, old-timer?
Where was I? Oh, yeah. Well, I ain't one to back down from something stupid. So, I grabbed the can and said something sensually flattering about their mamas. Then, I popped the top. Woohoo! Damn stuff hissed and fizzled like some kind of brown sludge demon. Smelled like one, too. I chugged the whole damn thing. The thick goop tasted like scented sewer water. Burned my brain like a chili pepper. I nearly puked with each swallow, but I weren't gonna give them the satisfaction. When I threw the can aside, the boys cheered. I opened my mouth, flashed them a smug smile, and my teeth was all stained the darkest mud brown you ever seen. They stayed that way for at least a month. And that's where I got my name. Oh, here's a good one. Crazy 8 traveled a lot after leaving Sanctuary. Came to this one town named Ghostwell. No, Oak Hole. No, wait. It was Swan Creek. Swan Creek, I'm sure of it. Anyway, this Croakswell town didn't take kindly to strangers, and that sure as hell meant us. We stayed anyway, course. Brought 'em good scrounge, we did. Nobody scavenged like the Crazy Eight. And there was this girl, smartest damn girl you ever met. Her old man, though, he didn't like us one bit, especially me. So one day, there's a banging on the doorstep. I open the door, and the girl's old man clocks me with the butt of his shotgun. Knocked out one of my teeth, he did. Then he points the gun in my face and starts shouting, "Which one of you assley holes got her in the family way?" he says. "I know it was one of you." Well, I ain't gonna argue with a man behind a gun. So I looks around, sees Mudtooth in the mud, and says, "Mudtooth, he's the one you're after." And off he ran after someone who don't exist. Or didn't exist, I guess. We ditched Ghost Crack that day, but the name came with me. And that's the story of how Brabus was born. Except he weren't born yet, was he? Not born then. The other thing. Conceptualized.
Got one last story before I head out?
Tell the truth, I'm a bit dry-mouthed on my tales, if you can believe that. Come back later, we'll talk some more.
Would you mind show me your wares?
Why, sure, but it ain't ready just yet. The lunch rush today was something fierce, I tell you. But I'll have some for you quicker than you can say Crazy Eight. Well, maybe not that quick. I done already said it, didn't I? Just come back in a while, I'll be sure to save you a bowl.
Who's that man beside you?
Oh, careful now. My answers are known to lead to more questions.
I should tell Deckard Cain about you.
Be sure to let me know if you do. Well, you take care now.